And yes, so we are all systems go, right? So shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for everybody who is tuning in on the Conscious Creations Instagram page, as well as the Conscious Creations YouTube channel. Y'all on YouTube, I apologize for this background. You know, these things are really not, they're really not my strong suit, y'all. And I know clearly I did not figure it out from the last live last week. So, which is why we're still here with this background. Y'all can't see it on Instagram because y'all are actually seeing the living room background, but the folks on YouTube are seeing this just this blue background that I don't really know what to do with. Yeah, because I don't even know how I did this. So I don't know how to change it because I don't know how I did it. So, but in any event, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everybody who has everybody tuning into the live, as well as those who will join and catch the replay. So we are here. We are here. We are here. So if y'all have been joining me for the last 7 weeks, you know that back in January, we started going through the 7 chakra series, started with the root chakra. And really it is, I would say that it's, basic, I guess, so to speak, right? Basic information for actually how to really tap in spiritually with your spiritual tools, your spiritual resources that you have within you by way of the chakra system, right? Now, if you are not familiar, and I'm just going to just do a brief recap. So, if you are not familiar with the chakra system, one of the things that I will recommend is this book, because this is the book that I have. This is the book that I got a couple years ago. So, if you see it, so you see how thick it is, right? So very, very comprehensive book. And and it really delves into everything. But one of the things that I want to do before we really get started into talking about this the crown chakra is, one, I want to clear the space, and I want to introduce you all to the tuning fork for the crown chakra. The tuning fork is available on the Conscious Creations website at www.consciouscreations.live. The bowl, the singing bowl, is not available on the website, but any like major, when I say major, your local crystal shops, they may have it. They may have singing bowls if that's something that you're interested in, and we'll go over that. Okay. All right. So let's do it, y'all. Let's get into it. So if you've ever if you've ever worked with sound therapy, that would include things like singing bowls, tuning forks, listening to frequency music, things like that, you can appreciate how you feel the resonance of the frequency within your body. And because the thing I love about it is, because our bodies are 70% water, you actually feel, with the singing bowl, for example, you actually feel the vibration going through your body. And if you think about the fact that your body is 70% water, and you think about when you see a boat going over the ocean or going over a body of water, the ripples that are made in the water, very much so how it works within your own body. So if you think about it that way, that really helps you to see how instrumental these instruments, right, can actually be for your healing. Because one of the things that, as we journey through all of this, you guys, that it's important to know, um, is your body. your body, of course, is comprised up of all sorts of things, including organs. And you guys will hear me talk about how, just like an orchestra, your organs play frequencies, they play sounds, right? So if you've ever had like an ultrasound, right, or any sort of diagnostic testing like that, they put a stethoscope or some sort of instrument on the spot that they're looking at, in order to figure out what the sound is, to hear the sound, to hear if it sounds off, right? Or if the organ is playing in tune with. Okay, got it. Oreo, y'all. Here you go, boobies. Good job. You know, to make sure that the organ that they're looking at is playing in tune with the rest of your body, with the rest of the orchestra, right? And so if you look at your body that way, when you want to really look at sound healing, frequency healing, any of that kind of stuff, that should help you to visualize different solutions for yourself, right? Because that's one of the things that we're going to talk about when we talk about the crown chakra today, is the once the crown chakra is activated, right, and balanced, that you really tap into your ability to self heal, right? So before we get started with that, though, I do want to introduce you all to, this is the crown chakra tuning fork that I said is on the website. And as you see, and it comes with this little pouch. And the crown chakra is about guidance and spirituality. So it's this beautiful purple. But the crown chakra can also be represented by not only the color purple, right? Because that's the whole thing. So y'all, okay. Because this little thing is zooming out with this background on YouTube. But y'all get the gist, right? You get the gist. So you use a little mallet to hit it. And y'all probably can't hear it, but if you can, like, barely. But you feel the same thing, like I was saying. Okay, so Oreo likes this. Okay. You like this one? You like this one? Okay, all right. Off. No, off. I know. You like this one. Clearly, he likes this one, y'all. Okay. No. Okay, you like the crown? You see his collar's purple. He okay. I know. Get down. Down. Go finish with your treats. Okay? I know. Now I know that you respond to the crown chakra. That's good to know. But no, I can't give you this though. This isn't for you. All right? That's not for you, poops. Good job. I'm gonna put it over here. That's not for you. Okay? But thank you. Now go finish with your chew. Okay? Okay, so now we started talking about the every chakra level. We started at the root, which we talked about the ancestral patterns of no, come on, Oreo. No, let's go. No, boobies. I know, but that's not for you. That's not for you. Okay. No, that's not for you, boobs. Go over here. So we started talking about the root chakra, right? Because the root deals with ancestral memories, ancestral patterns, ancestral awakenings, right? Really tapping into that source foundation that is your root. What are your roots, right? And so as we talked about with every single chakra level, when you unlock that energy and you start to really work with that, what happens is not only do you unlock the gifts, but you also unlock it's the gift and the curse, as they say, right? But it's just different ends of the same, it's different poles of the same energy, right? So on one level, you have, folks that may have been in survival mode. So say for instance, at the root chakra level, right, you have family members and it's ingrained in your DNA, a level of lack or poverty. But you also have ancestors or narratives that were built into your DNA that are memories of wealth and prosperity, right? It's it's ever whichever, what do they say, that this whichever one you feed basically is what you end up birthing. So what happens is, if you look at them from a perspective of duality, from positive and negative, masculine, feminine, whatever the case may be, what happens is it's all just energy. So you unlock these levels of energy within yourself, and as you are rising, right, as you are rising, this energy is going up your spine, up your spine, up your spine. So, but it goes up and down like the Pisces with the two fish, right? So it goes up and down the spine, intertwining with one another, doing like this delicate dance up the spine. And so at each level, it unlocks whatever is at that level. It unlocks that dormant DNA that is at that particular level. So at the next level, we talked about the sacral chakra, which is the seat of creativity and reproduction, that is governed by the energy of Scorpio, right? So we're talking about, birth and rebirth energy, right? Birth and rebirth, regeneration, okay? Creativity, things like that. Um, but at the same time, we're also talking about destruction. So you know what I'm saying? So there's so much that can happen once when you birth something into the reality, right? And then above that, we talked about the solar plexus, which is the seat of the willpower, right? That yellow sunshine energy, that gem on the top of a hill, right? Then above that, we're talking the heart chakra, the place where you give and receive love, um relationships, the way your attachment styles, the way that you bond and connect with other people, right? All of these things are being unlocked as you are growing up or climbing this Jacob's ladder, climbing this ladder, right? Up the consciousness, or through the consciousness, the journey through the consciousness. So then above that, of course, you have the throat chakra. From the overflow of the heart, then the mouth speaks. So this is why I was saying, when we talked about the heart chakra, this is why it's so important that before you grow up into the throat chakra and you start speaking and creating reality, that you really work to heal any sort of um, damage, right? Any sort of issues that you have at the heart chakra level, because what happens is you are creating, you're learning to create with your words, and with your words you create worlds, right? And so being able to heal that before you unlock that ability makes it easier for you to be able to create from a place of health, right? Like healthy relationships, whatever the case may be, like for to get a better outcome for whatever it is that you're trying to create. If you are trying to create something that would be quote unquote positive, right? So then above that, we have the third eye chakra, or the brow chakra. Now we're talking about the psychic abilities, the psychic senses, the ability to be able to see from your inner world, and to create from that inner consciousness, that inner space, which is that feminine energy, that internal energy, right? Because remember, when we're looking at it in terms of energy, that feminine energy deals with the unseen realm. It deals with the subconscious mind, right? Because just like the creative principle of the feminine is internal, so it is, right? As within, so without, so it is. And so we're really creating from this place of, you want to really create from this place of this nurturing inner world, because when you are at the pineal gland, when you are at the brow chakra, what is happening is you're able to see from this, it really affects your perception. And so when we talk about being at these different levels and layers, this is why the health of these chakras, the health of this energy is so key. Because you're going to create something, because you are a creator. If you are a living, breathing being, right? Then you are creating something all the time, every day. The question is whether or not you are consciously creating, right? Meaning that you are aware of what it is that you are actually doing while you are doing it. Does that make sense? Um, so this is why by the time we get to the crown chakra, if you haven't lost your mind, right, by all this unlocking and all of this stuff, if you haven't lost your mind by the time you get to the crown chakra, you deserve the crown, right? As they say, you deserve the crown because it's at the crown chakra where it is this the seat of enlightenment. Right now, you have unlocked these levels and layers of your own consciousness, right? And now it is as they call it, the nectar of the gods, right, that begins to just come down your body. So you as you've unlocked all of this energy, now you've unlocked the supreme being within yourself. You've unlocked that energy. And now what do you do with all of this power, all of this energy, all of this creative and destructive and powerful life force energy, this divine energy that you've unlocked? Now what do you do with it? Right? And so at this point, what can happen is if it's not a balanced energy, meaning that if you haven't, you have to remain balanced throughout all of these different levels and layers because they're different, all aspects of the self, all aspects of the soul, right? And so when you are remaining balanced in that place, that will help you to not lose your mind, right? Once we are at the crown chakra, because as this is happening, people can be prone to all sorts of psychotic illnesses and mental illnesses, all sorts of things at that level, because we're really talking about the brain, right? Yes, we are talking about consciousness, but we're also talking about the physical vessel. So we're talking about the brain. And so, this is why when I start these conversations, I'll introduce you all to these tools, right? Like and thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, the folks joining now. Thank you so much for joining on Instagram. We're also live on YouTube. So I'm looking at both cameras at the same time. So if you see me looking away, then that's why. But yeah, so I introduced you all to these tools at the beginning because these are some of the ways that you can bring your energy into balance. And definitely this is meant to be interactive. So please comment, let's talk about it, right? If whatever your experiences are with unlocking your chakras, if you are familiar with it, let's talk about it, right? Because one of the things that I love about these topics is the fact that now we are learning about them. Because I know personally, I didn't grow up knowing any of this stuff, any of it, right? And most of us, I don't know anyone who did grow up knowing any of these things, right? But the fact that we can be here now and have these conversations is so powerful, because specifically when we get to the crown chakra level, we're talking about that ability to self-heal. And you have it all along the way, but once you get to the crown, now you have mastered this human experience. You have now mastered the self, right? You have now learned how to gain control of yourself. But at this point, though, once we get to the crown, here's the thing about the crown chakra that is so key. Because the crown chakra is represented by a couple of things: the color gold, right? So when we talk about the gold standard, we talk about the golden era, we talk about the golden journey, which we really are talking about getting back to that place where you are truly living in your Christed consciousness, right? You're living as the supreme being in a physical vessel, right? So that is represented by gold, is represented by the color white, because we're talking enlightenment and purity of heart and all of these things, right? So these are just some of the external representatives of these things. It's also represented by the color purple. Now, that's what I really want to focus on, because when I look at the color purple, of course, I can't help but notice the color blue and the color red is what makes purple, right? And hear me now when I say this, because when we're talking about these colors, we're also talking about everything. We're talking about air and water. We're talking about fire and air. We're talking about the external the external plagiarization of this energy played out in politics, the red and the blue, right? We're also talking about the cardiovascular system. So it is all of these spiritual principles have then been taken, bastardized, and externalized, right? For power, control, and profit. So it's important that when we talk about these correspondences, that you understand what you're seeing, not only from a spiritual perspective, but when you see it manifested in the physical reality, that you understand what it is that you're looking at. All of these things are taken from these spiritual and esoteric principles and then used externally, right? Um, Now, but when you merge together these two forces, these two powerful forces, we're talking about, again, these intertwining serpents, as I talked about last week when we talked about the pineal gland and unlocking and opening the pineal gland. These forces coming together to provide this level of enlightenment. And now this is where we get from the medical perspective, we get the caduceus staff, right? But all of these things are based off of ancient principles, ancient knowledge. So the caduceus staff. So this is where we talk about this unlocking this level of healing. So by the time, like I said before, so by the time we get to the crown chakra, we already now have an expanded level of perception to be able to see beyond the physical realm. Because at every single level, it really is about mastering the human experience and being able to transcend above this dualistic nature of good versus anything, right? And some of you all know that one of the things that I've done for the last so long is as an attorney. And as an attorney, everything is versus, right? This person against that person, this party against that. It's conflict, right? By its very nature, is designed to put people at conflict. And so when we're talking about the crown chakra energy, we are removing all of that. We're removing the necessity for conflict, because now we're able to see from a conscious place, but also from a place of observation, right? So no longer are you looking at things from a perspective of life is happening to you, but instead you are seeing how you are happening to life. You get what I'm saying? Because now you're at the place where you are consciously creating, and you are aware of the fact that you are consciously creating, instead of, what we have done before is creating blindly, right? And then living in the effect of us as the cause, right? And I trust that that makes sense. Now, there is a long list of things, and this is why I want to read this part to y'all, because and so I'm going to show you again. This is the book. This is one of the books, right, that I have on chakras that I really, really like. So the author is Cyndi, Cyndi. Last name is Dale, Dale. Okay, so when the okay, so some of the diseases that are related to the crown chakra are muscular and skeletal systems. Now that was a surprise to me, actually. The skin, depression, chronic exhaustion that's not linked to a physical disorder, headaches, coordination challenges, migraines, dizziness, brain tumors, amnesia, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, muscular sclerosis, Parkinson's, schizophrenia, learning issues, psychosis, neurosis, insomnia, sensitivity to light, sound, or the environment. Now, again, you got to remember, because we are talking about, yes, Oreo. Okay. No. Come on. Where's your ball? Here, get your ball. I don't have it. Here, I don't have it. I'll give you your Kong bone when I'm done, okay? I'll give you your other Kong bone. Yeah, he's a dog and he wants to hang out. So this is what I was saying before, like when we are looking at this energy, it's important that as you are healing and really unlocking these aspects of yourself, that you're doing so, and at every level that you're making sure that you are bringing it into balance. Because once you get to the place where you are unlocking the crown chakra, if those lower levels, if you made those lower levels are not balanced, then you think about it, right? You're building up a tree, and then you get to, or you're growing up a tree, but if something is not balanced on that lower level, it's gonna cause a crash. It's gonna cause things to fall, or just to simply be out of alignment, right? And so when we talk about, in the spiritual community, we talk about alignment and what that really means. The way that I look at something being aligned or out of alignment is whether or not it is in direct, whether or not it is in my divine blueprint, right? Whether or not you are on your life's trajectory based on where you're supposed to be going, right? Are you taking the right path? Are you listening and hearing your internal guidance system, right? So we talked about that when we talked about the solar plexus, which is the seat of the willpower. So you see what I'm saying? So what happens is, say for instance, your solar plexus chakra has been manipulated because it's called the Manipura, right? So it is the place, one of the places that is ripe for manipulation because it is the seat of your willpower. So the only way that someone would be able to take and hijack your crown chakra energy, right? Is at first that your willpower has been given away, right? Because if you are in full control of your faculties and full control of your consciousness, then you would be aware, right? You would be consciously aware of energy that is not yours. Do you see what I'm saying? And so this is why balance at every single level is so key. So some of the things that I find to be very, very helpful is when we're talking about all of these things, grounding, 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 grounding. And I would love to hear how y'all ground your energy, if you ground, right? If you even know what I'm talking about when I say grounding. But it is like, if because your body is made of it contains and made up of electricity. And so as you know, anytime like you're building a house, right? They have to come in and they have to make sure that the electricity is grounded so that it's not sparks flying all over the place and your house burns down. Same concept with your body. Because you have these neurons and things firing, neurons and electrons and all these things firing all over the place. If there's not something to ground that energy, you can literally short circuit yourself, right? And so this is so when your chakras are actually overactive, that can happen. Your chakra centers can actually burn out if it is overly used. So this is why it's not about being more in either direction so much as it is about being in alignment, right? And being balanced. Now, so some of the other things that you can do outside of grounding is massage oils, but all of these things are important for the same purpose, right? It's alignment. Massage oils, because one of the primary things that happens with our chakras becoming damaged is trauma, pain, past tense, right? So when I think of past tense, a lot of times, and I've been there more than once, right? Getting stuck on a situation that happened, getting stuck on the past and not being able to move forward. And so what happens, I look at that like the wheel is just spinning, your energy center is just spinning, 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 but it's spinning and it's spending, right? And so this is how a lot of times people can get to a place where they are broke, right? Because their wheel may have been broke or broken, and it starts to affect other areas of your life. You see what I'm saying? So one of the examples is this. So one of the things that I've noticed is when it comes to that sacral chakra energy, which we talk about, that's that seat of creativity, reproduction, things like that. And I was just having a conversation with one of my friends today about this. Specifically for women, um, because we are talking about this is the seat of energy where your what it is that you create, right? You create from this place, and your creativity is supposed to generate for you, right? So that you actually attract what it is that is you not only that you desire but that you require in order to sustain your life force. Meaning, and I know that it sounds very much like, sex for money. That's not what I'm that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is it's a place of creation, right? And so being able to use your creative energy. So maybe you paint, maybe you draw, maybe you speak, however it is that you express yourself. Those forms of expression can also be used to actually sustain you by, people giving you whatever it is that you require in exchange for you creating that artwork or whatever, right? But sometimes what can happen is we take on, as women, particularly, not saying it doesn't happen to men, but I'm talking to women specifically right now. We can take on the energy of other people, specifically our sexual partners, and then we take on that energy. And say, for instance, those energies are not in alignment. That can leave you broke and broken, right? Because it's the sacral chakra is also a place where your emotions are stored. And what ends up happening a lot of times for women, certainly what happened for me, was I found myself in this situation and I got stuck in that pattern, right? Of these relationships, got stuck in this cycle again and again and again and again. And my wheel was spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning until I got to a place where I felt like I had nothing left, nothing else really to lose, right? And I know it was because I was stuck in this cycle for such a long time because I did not know how to get out of this perpetual cycle of broken promises, broken dreams, broken relationships, broken whatever. And so as a result, that started to manifest a certain way in my reality. Do you see what I'm saying? And so this is what I was talking about in terms of like the instability. And so healing those levels of stability. So when you start and you really heal those lower levels, if you may, that affects and makes sure that what happens above is able to affect the below. Because if you understand universal law, you understand as above, so below, right? Because what it is that you have going on in your mind, your body's going to follow, right? Because you wear the crown, because you are the president, because you are the controller, right? So that's also why that's important. So I know I'm just rambling and just talking, but I want to also always make sure that I give y'all all of the information that I'm receiving, and whatever, to be able to make sure that y'all have that on your journey. So do you have any questions, any things that you want to add before I move on? Okay. All right. Well, if that's it, just again, interactive conversations. So, the other thing, let me see, there was something in here, something. Oh, this was the other thing that I wanted to read specifically because there was a list. And so deficiencies, we talked about deficiencies and excesses of the crown chakra. So deficiencies in this energy center lead to a lack of purpose, ethics, joy, and trust, loss of meaning or identity, apathy, materialism, selfishness, and inability to put closure on unfinished business, fear of religion or spirituality, unwise decisions, spiritual cynicism, learning difficulties, fear of death, feeling alone and separate from others, and it can also result in ignoring one's bodily needs. Now, when there is an excess in the crown chakra, people become overly intellectual, living in their head. It fosters feelings of superiority, manic depressive behavior, hysterical behavior, addiction to religion, or any other fantastic spiritual idea, and disassociation from the body. So, once again, this is why that balance is so key. Because, yes, you can get to the crown chakra and experience this great cosmic awareness and this great cosmic enlightenment, but you could also experience psychosis, right? If the energy is not balanced. So, one of the things that I like to do for crown chakra balancing um, is using the color purple, right? So this would be this would be like blueberries, blackberries, eggplant, anything that is going to be an antioxidant on that level. So we're even talking about strawberries, right? Different levels of antioxidants. The reason being is because what happens is it helps to reduce any sort of inflammation that you may have, because it may be that inflammation that is distorting your perception and distorting things along the way. So making sure that your body has those antioxidants in order to fight the to be able to fight the free radicals that we get just simply from the environment, right? Or from food, or whatever the case may be. But these free radicals, they cause destabilization in the body, because essentially what they are is they're unstable molecules that are looking for stability. And so they may grab on to something else with, another molecule in the body. But then what happens is, if the body doesn't have enough antioxidants in order to overpower, if you may, the free radicals, then it creates destabilization within your body. So this is how these mental health issues and some of these other issues can come about, because the body doesn't have the tools that it needs to, in order to protect you and to fight these things off. So at every single level, just pay attention to what your diet looks like, right? And that is not only from what you're eating, but from who you're spending time with, what you're reading, what you're listening to, everything, because it's all a part of you. It's all you. But once you master this aspect of yourself, it awakens. Yes, Oreo. I'll be done in just a minute, okay? I'll be done in just a minute. Sweet doggy. Um, but yeah, so it unlocks this level of enlightenment, like I was saying before, where you're able to truly see clearly, right? Because a lot of time, um, we spend looking at things outside of ourselves and stressing and worrying about all of the different things that are happening in society, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying not to be, concerned or not to care about those things. But what I am saying is it does at some level require a level of detachment in order for you to make sure that you are well, and that you're able to actually see things clearly, to see your place in everything, right? Because once you unlock these things within yourself, you'll realize that you don't have to be in a victim state of consciousness or anything like that, but you can truly create your own reality once you realize that you're creating your own reality. And I trust that that makes sense. And if you need any tips, tools, anything like that to help balance your chakras, or for any parts of your journey, make sure you go to the website. The website again is www.consciouscreations.live. So on the website, we have the tuning forks, we have massage oils, we have different body butters that are consciously created for different energy, right? So we do have. So y'all see this? Y'all see? Yes, or yeah. Yes. Okay. 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 All right. You're a big doggy. You're a big doggy. You are a nope. 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 Off. No, we'll go outside in a minute. Okay. We'll go out in a minute. No, no, no. Off. Oreo. No. We're gonna no. No. Off. Thank you. We're gonna go in a minute, okay? All right. So yeah, I'm probably gonna just cut it short, y'all, because clearly Oreo wants to go outside. But yeah, so go to the website. Anything that you need is there. We have herbs, all sorts of herbs, oils, butters, all sorts of things to help you on this journey. Because ultimately, we want you to love yourself well. Because at some point, you awaken to your true power. And that is the power to be able to co create this reality with the universe, God, source creator, whatever name you choose to give this energy. But you can simply look at it as love. It's love to be able to create with and from a space of love, the highest form of love, right? This unconditional love. And it begins with the love of self. And so I hope that this helps you. I hope that you've joined me through these 7 chakra series. If you have not, you can go to either the Conscious Creations YouTube channel at Conscious Creations Live on YouTube, or the Instagram channel at Conscious. For those of you on YouTube, Conscious Creations .live on Instagram, and take a look at the other chakras that we've gone through, so that if there's anything that you want to know about how to make sure that energy within, okay, that energy within you is balanced, that you have that information. So anyway, y'all, I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And or you see he's trying to pull me outside. You see this, right? Stop. No, get off my sweater. Off. We're gonna go. Off. Off. No, I said off. Oreo. Off. I'm coming. I'm coming. Off. Off. I'm coming. Okay. So all right, y'all. Until next time, love yourself well. You deserve it.